Hello everyone, I am Rajiv Sharma from Electrical Department of Seth Jai Prakash Polytechnic, Damla, Yamunanagar. The topic for today's discussion is DC motors, the basic principle, construction, types and their characteristics. So let us start. What is a motor? Motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, and the motor which works on DC supply is known as DC motor. So every motor normally has two parts. One is the stator and other is the rotor. Stator is that part of the motor which is stationary, and rotor is that part of motor which rotates. The basic principle of motor is that whenever current carrying conductor is placed in the magnetic field, it experiences a force. So to make the conductor rotate, first of all we have to create a magnetic field. Here in a elementary DC motor we have a permanent magnet having north pole and south pole, and this dotted line indicates the magnetic field coming out from the north pole to the south pole. In this magnetic field we have placed one conductor, and to pass current through the conductor we connect the two ends of the conductor with a ring which has been insulated in the center, or we can say which has been split into two parts. There are one ring has been split into two parts, and one end of the coil is connected to the one part and other end is connected to the second part. This whole arrangement, the split ring arrangement and the conductor which is placed in the magnetic field, they are one single unit, and when the conductor will rotate, this ring will also rotate. I have written down armature for the conductor. Armature is that part of the rotor or that part of the conductor which is placed in the magnetic field on which the force is developed, or on which the torque is produced. Now to connect this DC supply, this is the positive and negative of the DC supply, we have taken help of two brushes. Normally they are made of carbon, and we normally say carbon brushes. The purpose of carbon brushes is to slide on this ring. So we have two brushes. One brush is connected to the positive of the battery and other brush is connected to the negative of the battery. So when we give supply to the armature or to the conductor, the current will enter through the carbon brushes to the split ring and to the conductor. Now to find the direction of rotation of the conductor, we have to apply Fleming's left hand rule, which can be found out by applying this rule. The thumb indicates the direction of the motion, the forefinger indicates the direction of magnetic field, and the middle finger indicates the direction of current. All these three vectors are perpendicular to each other. So applying Fleming's left hand rule on this side, say A dash, a torque is produced in the upward direction, and similarly for the side BB dash, the torque is produced in the downward direction and the conductor will rotate. Once the side AA dash rotates to 180 degree, the side BB dash will come here and A dash will come here. So the moment the coil will change its position, say come under north pole, the direction of current will also change. This is the purpose of the split ring. Technically, this split ring is called commutator. Normally, we don't have one coil. To get a uniform torque, say we place two coils at 90 degree to each other, and the split ring is split into four parts, which with all the coils connected to the respective parts of the split ring. So whenever we connect the supply, the current will enter through the brushes, through the commutator and to the conductor, and this force is produced. So basically we have the armature, that part of the conductor which is under the magnetic field and on which the force is produced, the split ring arrangement which is called the commutator, and the set of brushes through which the DC supply enters the conductors. So this was the elementary construction of the DC motor, and now we shall discuss the practical construction of DC motor. Let us see the practical construction of DC motor. We have number of coils which are connected to the split ring, which has been split into number of parts. The coils are mounted on the steel structure to increase the magnetic flux, and in a small motors we use a permanent magnet, but on a bigger size DC motor we use an electromagnet. The windings which provide the magnetic field are called field windings, and they can be connected in series or parallel. Depending upon the field winding, whether it is connected in series with the armature or it is connected in parallel with the armature, the DC motor can be of two types: DC shunt motor and DC series motor. In DC shunt motor, the armature and the field coils are connected in parallel, whereas in DC series motor, the armature and the field coils are connected in series. When we have both the windings, that is a series connected winding and a shunt connected winding, and that motor is called DC compound motor. Let us now discuss types of DC motors. Before we study in detail, we have simplified the construction of DC motor. Let us take one of the example, that is DC shunt motor. The rotating part of the conductor, which is called the armature, that cuts the magnetic field, we have drawn a circle representing the armature. These are the carbon brushes have been represented, and this is the field winding. That's a winding which provides the magnetic field. Now, depending upon how the field winding has been connected with the armature, the DC motor can be classified into three types, that is DC shunt motor, DC series motor and DC compound motor. Let us take the first example, that is DC shunt motor. Here this is an armature having a resistance of R ohms. This armature, and this is the field winding which is providing the magnetic flux or magnetic field. Now both the armature and field windings have been connected in parallel, and this is the supply voltage, positive and negative. This represents a DC shunt motor having the field winding in parallel with the armature. The armature current is IA, resistance is RA ohms. Second type is DC series motor. Here this one is the armature and this is the field winding. We see that the field winding and the armature, they are connected in series. RA ohms is the resistance of the armature, RS is the resistance of the series field winding. And V is the voltage applied, external voltage applied from the battery, and this represents a DC series motor. When we have both the series field winding and the shunt field winding, then the motor becomes DC compound motor. Here I have shown the armature. It has got one DC shunt field winding which is in parallel with the armature, and one winding it is in the series with the armature. Let us study characteristics of DC shunt motor. By characteristics means behavior of the motor, how the speed of the motor changes with the increase in load, what is the effect of armature current on the torque, how the speed changes with torque, how the speed changes with armature current. Before we discuss in detail the characteristics, let us come to the basic equation of the motor. V is equal to E plus IA RA. V is the applied voltage or the battery voltage. E is the back EMF which is developed in the armature due to the generating action. Like when we apply voltage to the DC motor, the armature rotates, and when it cuts the magnetic field, the generating action also takes place in the armature. This E induced EMF, back EMF, E is equal to K phi Z N upon 60A. E is equal to K phi Z N by 60A. Means K is a constant, phi is the flux per pole, Z is the total number of conductors, N is the speed of the armature, and A is the number of parallel paths. How we have divided the conductors into the number of parallel paths, this is A. Or we can say E is equal to K phi N. E is equal to K phi N. This V is equal to E plus IA RA. This is the basic equation of the motor. IA is the armature current, RA is the armature resistance, E is the back EMF which is developed across the armature, V is the applied voltage. This E is equal to K phi N. K is a constant, phi is flux per pole, and N is the speed of the armature. Now let us discuss the first characteristics, that is torque armature characteristics. We know that torque is a product of armature current and flux, or we can say torque is equal to K phi N. Torque is equal to K phi IA. Now, in DC shunt motor, since the shunt winding, the field winding is getting a constant voltage of V volts, the field current is constant, and so that phi is constant. So we can say this K is constant, phi is constant, and I is changing. So torque is directly proportional to I. Torque is directly proportional to armature current. And if we draw the graph, this is torque, and here we have armature current. See, torque is in say Newton meters and current is in amperes. So when IA is 0, T is 0, As Ia increases, torque increases. So this is a equation of a straight line passing through the origin. So the torque increases linearly with the increase in armature current. This was first characteristic, torque armature characteristic. Let us study speed armature current characteristics. We know that V is equal to E plus Ia Ra. Now V is equal to E is K V is equal to K N plus Ia Ra, or N is equal to V minus Ia Ra upon K. Now when Ia is 0, we have the no load speed V upon K phi. So let us draw the graph. Here we have the speed and this is armature current. So this is no load speed. As the value of Ia increases, V minus Ia Ra decreases and the speed decreases. So as the load increases, there is decrease in speed of the motor. So this is the graph of speed versus armature current characteristics. Next is speed torque characteristics. Speed torque characteristics. Coming back to the same equation, V is equal to E plus Ia Ra. V is equal to E is equal to K phi N plus Ia Ra, or N is equal to V minus Ia Ra upon K phi. Now torque is K phi Ia, or Ia is equal to T divided by K phi. Substituting the value of Ia here, N is equal to 1 upon K phi V minus T upon K phi R. This is the relation between speed and torque. When the value of torque is 0, the speed is equal to V upon K phi. Similarly, here we have the speed and on the x-axis we have torque. This is no load speed equal to V upon K phi. As the value of torque increases, the value of speed will decrease. So this is the relation between speed and torque. So we have discussed three characteristics. First is torque armature current characteristics. Second is speed armature characteristics, and the last is speed torque characteristics. Now we shall take characteristics of DC series motor. In DC series motor, the armature and field winding are connected in series. Same armature current flows through the DC series field winding, whereas in the DC shunt motor the field current was constant, and in DC series motor the field current changes with the armature current, because the same current is flowing in the field winding and in the armature. So phi is proportional to armature current, or phi is equal to C times Ia, where C is a constant. Now taking the first characteristics, that is torque armature current characteristics. We know torque is equal to product of flux and armature current. Now torque is equal to K, phi is C times Ia into Ia, or torque is equal to Kc Ia square. So this relation is parabolic. So when we draw the graph between torque, say torque in Newton meter, and armature current in amperes, the torque rises in a parabolic form, but as the value of Ia increases, though flux increases, later on when there is a saturation, with the increase in armature current, the flux no longer increases and flux remains constant, so that after that this relation becomes linear. So this is before saturation and this is after saturation. This was torque armature current characteristics. Let us take speed armature current characteristics. We know that, taking the basic equation, V is equal to E plus Ia, say Ra plus resistance of the series field winding, RSS, or we can say V is equal to E plus Ia Rs. V is equal to E is K phi N, or N is equal to V minus Ia Rs or N is equal to V 1 upon K phi V minus, now phi is equal to C times Ia, or N is equal to or N is equal to 1 upon Kc V upon Ia minus Rs. Rs is the total resistance of the series field winding and the armature. Now when Ia is 0, speed is infinite. Speed is infinite. So when I is 0, N is infinite. So at no load speed, the speed of DC series motor is very high. This is speed and this is as the value of Ia increases, there is steep fall in the speed. The starting torque is very high, but as the armature current increases, the speed drops rapidly. This is speed armature current characteristics. Last is speed torque characteristics. We have the relation speed is equal to 1 upon Kc and V upon Ia minus Rs. Now torque is equal to Ka, K, phi, or torque is equal to Kc times Ia into Ia, or torque is equal to Kc Ia square, or Ia is equal to under root T upon Kc. Substituting the value of Ia in this equation, we get N is equal to 1 upon Kc, V upon Ia is under root T by Kc minus we have substituted the value of torque. Now the graph is same. Here on the y-axis we have the speed in say RPM, and we have the torque in Newton meter. At when the value of torque is 0, speed is infinite, very high, and as the value of torque increases, the speed will decrease. When the flux becomes constant, so then the flux is no more dependent upon the armature current, then the graph becomes linear. Say this is before saturation and this is after saturation. So we have drawn the three characteristics. One is torque, armature current characteristics. Second is DC, speed, armature current characteristics, and this is speed torque characteristics. These were the characteristics of DC series motor, with the difference that the starting torque of the DC series motor is high in comparison to DC shunt motor, and on applying the load, the speed there is steep variation in the speed of the DC series motor, whereas there is less variation in the DC shunt motor. Thank you.